Hello, fellow artists. Welcome back. Today, we're going to dive into the lesson of painting from observation. So, a couple things about this is the project will take place outdoors. So, please pick a day where it is nice, or a couple of days when it is nice outside, and sit out and work from what you see around you in nature. Another thing is we are going to be painting. However, if you do not have these materials at home, if you're learning from online, you may substitute some of the materials. Things you can substitute are the paint. So if you don't have acrylic paints, you can use other paints such as watercolor, tempera, and that's basically it. If you don't have paints whatsoever, other things you can use are colored pencils, crayons, and pastels, which are pretty great substitutes, but we will be using color this time around. You may also use paper, but if you don't have any paper laying around, use a piece of cardboard, use whatever flat surface you can draw or paint on with your parent or guardian's permission. So let's go ahead and jump into this lesson here. We are still looking at color, and the theme of our unit is somewhere over the rainbow. It is fall time, so the trees are actually going to start, or the leaves on the trees are going to start changing colors, which is why I am very excited about this lesson itself. This is called Plein Air, painting what we see. Things we will be learning this time around is you will be able to talk about the care and cleaning process of art materials and tools when using them out in nature. You will also be able to make your own explanation of artworks based on what you know personally and through the art forms. So, thus far, we have talked about color. We will also be talking about texture, line, and the content. So, what is in the painting itself? Vocabulary we'll be talking about are observation, texture, warm and cool colors, tint, and shade. Here is an example of what a plein air painting is. Take a moment to look at it. What is going on in the image? If you take a moment to look, you will notice that there is a painter on the bottom corner here, and he is painting something out in nature. He is painting from observation, meaning that he is using his eyes, his sense of smell, maybe his sense of touch, as well as hearing and taste in order to create a painting. Plein air is a simple term in art that refers to painting out in nature. And when we paint out in nature, we are observing using our senses to create a painting based off of observation. So we are looking, we are feeling, we are smelling, maybe tasting in a sense, and other and using our senses to create a painting. Here off in the other corner, we see maybe a female figure sitting in nature, and everything else around is nature related. We have trees, we have long grass, and we have all sorts of different things there. So, with plein air painting, we do need to talk about a couple of things here. We have tint and shade. Tinting with paints and shading with paints is a little different than doing it with a colored pencil or crayon, but I will show you in an additional video how to do that. Tinting is taking a pure color such as blue, red, yellow, orange, green, purple, or any of those colors on the color wheel. So taking one of those colors and adding white. Adding white tints the color, meaning it gets lighter the more white you add into your color. Notice how this is a medium blue because the person added a little bit of white. And then this one is a much lighter blue because the person added a lot more white paint to it to make the color lighter. Now we're going to jump to the bottom here. Shade. Shade is something in art that we consider to make things darker, especially in nature. So, shade is the sense of taking a color. Again, it can be red, yellow, blue, orange, green, purple, anything on the color wheel, plus black. And with black, it is a very powerful color. The little bit that you add really changes that color into something different. Notice how this regular blue here turns into a much darker blue when you add just a little bit of black. And if you add even more black to this blue, it turns out to look just black. So black is a very powerful color that can overtake your other pure colors very easily and turn out to make a really, really dark shade of blue or maybe just a plain black. So as you are mixing colors, be sure to be careful with that. It does get a little tricky, and we will have a little bit of a practice run before we go outside and paint from nature and paint from what we see. Here is a picture example of these things being put together into one picture. Notice that the tints, so the blue plus the white, are all the way in the back. The tints tend to be in the middle and closer to the top to make it look like things are further away from you in a painting. So we have this really light blue right here in this area, kind of in the middle of the paper, that makes it look like it's really far into the woods. Now this medium blue, or this blue that has been tinted with white just a little bit, is a little closer to the bottom of the paper to make it look like it's closer to me or closer to you as you're looking at it. And it also still makes it look like the woods or the trees go a little bit far in the back. This next layer of blue that we see here is just the regular blue. And in this painting, the blue is almost to the bottom here. And it is used in front of our two light colors because the darker the color you have, the closer our objects or our things look to us in the picture. So notice how much closer those blue pure trees look to us versus this light blue here. Those look far away and these look closer to us. Last is the layer with all the black paint in it. It almost looks completely black. And they place this one closer to the bottom and it sprays out or comes out to the top here, making it feel like the trees are bigger and closer to us in the picture. And our darker colors, again, always go towards the front to make it look like they're closer to us. Texture. If you noticed in that last painting picture, you noticed a couple of textures. Textures is just the look or the feel of the painting, whether you are making a grass texture, just like in this little green box, or you are making some swirly textures like this big example here, or you are just making a flat color to make it look smooth and flat. Texture is everywhere around us, especially in painting, and this is the way they are used within the painting world. So we will be using texture as well, and I will show you how to do a couple of them in our example videos. So practice time. This is going to be the moment where we practice how to mix our tints and our shades. That way we are able to do that before we go out into nature and actually try to paint trees and try to paint other things that we see out in the world as we sit outside. So I will post an additional video to show you how to mix those tints, how to mix those shades, and also how to create different textures to make things look like they're trees or they're grass or they're bushes or anything different of that matter. So stay tuned and I hope to see you soon. Have a great day.